In 1997, Rick Moranis was one of the most recognizable faces on earth. He had made Hollywood billions. He had the number one movie in America. He was a comedy god, and then he vanished. No scandals, no rehab, no comeback tour. He just walked away at 44 years old at his absolute peak. Today, that same man is worth over $10 million. He did not get it from blockbuster sequels, he got it from being a dad. This is the story of the man who said no to $billion because his kids needed him for homework. Born in Toronto, Rick Moranis was not the class clown, he was the quiet observer. He got into comedy by accident, spinning records at a radio station. But when he joined the legendary sketch show SCTV, the world took notice. He created characters that were not mean, they were honest, goofy, lovable. In 1984, a little movie called Ghostbusters changed everything. As Louis Tully the nerdy accountant, Rick stole every scene from Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. He was not trying to be cool, he was trying to do his taxes. And America fell in love. Then came Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Parenthood, Little Shop of Horrors. By 1991, he was the everyman, the dad you wished you had, the neighbor who made you laugh without making you feel dumb. But here's the detail Hollywood forgets. Rick was never chasing fame, he was chasing a paycheck to pay for a very specific life. And at the center of that life was a woman named Anne. Rick met costume designer Anne Belsky in the early 80s. They had two kids, Rachel and Mitchell. He was the rare star who actually wanted to be home for dinner. Then in 1991, while they were filming Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Anne was diagnosed with breast cancer. For 6 years, Rick fought a silent war. He had fly home from set every weekend. He turned down roles to sit in hospital waiting rooms. He never talked to the press about it. On February 4, 1997, Anne lost her battle. She was 48 years old. Rick Moranis was suddenly a single father to a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. And here is where the story breaks every Hollywood rule. The offers flooded in. Big offers, sequels, sitcoms. Disney wanted him. The phone rang off the hook. But Rick looked at his two kids and realized the nanny had raised them for the last 6 months. He did not hire a team. He did not take a break. He quit. Let's be clear, Rick Moranis was not broke, he had Honey, I Shrunk the Kids residuals. He had Ghostbusters money, but $10 million in Hollywood is lunch money. Most actors burn through that in 3 years. Rick made it last forever. While other stars bought yachts, Rick bought a modest house in the Upper West Side of New York. No mansion, no gates, just a regular kitchen. While others chased Oscar baits, Rick chased the school bus. He invested wisely, he lived frugally, and he did the most radical thing a man in his position could do. He showed up. Think about that. In an industry where ego is oxygen, Rick Moranis decided that reading a bedtime story was a higher calling than reading a script. For 23 years, he did school drop-offs, he made the mac and cheese, he went to parent-teacher conferences, and the paparazzi, they caught him at the grocery store buying broccoli. He became an urban legend, the hermit of Hollywood. But he was not hiding, he was working, just not for a camera. Once his kids grew up and moved out, Rick started to peek his head out. In 2020, he returned for a hilarious Honey, I Shrunk the Kids commercial during the Super Bowl. The internet lost its mind. Then tragedy nearly struck again. In October 2020, he was walking his dog on the Upper West Side when a stranger punched him in the head. He fell to the ground. The world held its breath, but Rick, he refused to become a victim. He did not do interviews, he did not hire bodyguards. He went home, iced his head, and went back to his quiet life. Today, he makes rare voice cameos, he records comedy albums, he plays guitar, but he's not back. And that is the point. We are so used to comebacks. We worship the hustle. We think success is a ladder you must keep climbing until you fall off. Rick Moranis looked at the ladder and climbed down on purpose. For a 25-year-old watching this, you are told to sacrifice everything for the grind. Rick proves that the ultimate flex is knowing when to stop. For a 50-year-old watching this, you might be tired. You might wonder if you took the wrong path by choosing family over promotion. Look at Rick. He is not crying into a golden globe. He is smiling at a college graduation photo. Rick Moranis taught us how to shrink kids and fight ghosts. But his real legacy, he taught millions of men that it is brave to walk away. It is brave to cook dinner. It is brave to be a dad. He quit Hollywood because he owned. He owned the only thing money can't buy, time with the people he loves. If you had $10 million in bank tomorrow, would you keep working or would you walk away to be with your family? I want you to be honest. If you enjoyed this story of quiet integrity, hit the like button. It tells YouTube that we want more stories about good people, not just famous ones. Subscribe if you want to remember the legends who lived life on their terms. Take off, you houser, go hug your kids.